Alicia, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey, doing pretty good. Hey, I see your dog back there. What kind of dog is that?
This is Pinto Bean.
Oh,
He is a pit boxer mix of little things. And these were my mommy's dogs. And I took them when she passed.
no, you have 3 dogs. I mean, how many dogs do you have there?
3.
So I'm gonna imagine though with Pinto, because I had a similar type dog, and he was the sweetest, kindest dog, and people would be like, "Oh, it's a pit bull," and I'd be like, "This dog will lick your face off and then give you a treat," and you're acting like that's a mean dog.
Yes, that has always been the unfortunate plight of the pit. But this one in particular has not garnered that reputation. Everyone just thinks he's so cute when he was walking because he's still kind of puppy. So I think that he's changing the way for the pits.
Well, that's good. Alicia Silverstone's on with us. We'll talk about a couple things here. Your podcast, the Real Hill Podcast. What's interesting to me is, when it comes to health and wellness, and, everybody has a version of what makes their life better. And I think we can pull from a lot of people who've learned a lot of things. And your podcast is about healing, and especially through nutrition. So, what do you eat generally for you to stay healthy and for you to heal?
Yeah. Well, I had to go through, I used to eat a normal way, like whatever, the way that we're all kind of brought up eating. My parents were English, so my upbringing was sort of lamb chops and broccoli and mashed potatoes. You know what I mean? And and we ate lots of meat and there was no I think my parents felt like if there was at the time if there was a vegetable on the plate they were doing really well, which I could see that is significantly better than most. But I suffered from bronchitis, and I had allergy shots twice a week and an asthma inhaler. And as I got older, my skin started to get really broken out and I started to put on pounds, and the whites of basically my nails were quite brittle, and basically that's normal. All of these things were a normal existence, to be taking antibiotics once or twice a year because you're sick. And when I changed my diet, that all went away. I stopped having an asthma inhaler. I stopped having allergy shots. My skin changed drastically. My body slimmed up. My I just no longer needed antibiotics at all. And my nails got so strong that you can't bend them at all. And the whites of my eyes got really, really white, and everything significantly got better. So what did I change? I stopped eating meat, dairy, sugar. Well, first it was just meat and dairy, and that did everything to begin with. But then I started to understand even more about health and how I could start eating less sugar and less processed foods and really eat whole grains, greens, beans. And so last night for dinner with my son, we made quesadillas with kimchi and black beans, mashed black beans and kimchi and lime and cilantro and radishes from the garden. We turned the radishes into a salsa, and avocados from my garden. And we just made a really healthy meal, and that's how we eat. And this morning I'm having this really yummy sort of overnight muesli with mango and cherries. It's so good.
And I asked that pretty broad question because, I've done those tests before where they're like, hey, this food works with your body this well. And other friends will take the test and it's their bodies work completely different with the same kind of food, and their body doesn't do well with a certain food. Do you feel like with you and what you have learned that works for you, but for other people, it's about learning what they should be putting into their body in a different way? Or is it mostly just avoiding the sugars type stuff?
Well, I wrote a whole book on this, and I don't really subscribe to this. I'm sure that at some point you can get down to the minutia about what specific foods do different things to different people in terms of allergies. But what I fundamentally believe is in this macrobiotic plant-based diet, meaning that when you are understanding that there's foods that nourish your organs and foods that hurt your organs. And that's the fundamental difference between the two different groups of foods. And the foods that are nourishing them are going to nourish them pretty much for everyone. So I don't really feel like, you know, I know that some people are celiac and they should avoid certain gluten foods, and that makes sense. But for the rest of us, um, who don't have that issue, you can, your body can heal itself by changing your diet. And so and it's not about, sure, if you eliminate sugar, that would be good across the board. No one benefits from sugar, meaning like processed nasty sugar. But when you start adding in whole grains, beans, fermented tempeh, tofu, things like that. And I'm not talking about it in some boring way. When I hear these words that I'm saying out of my mouth, they sound like they're going to be terrible, but you have to trust me that I am a food snob and I eat delicious, delicious food. And my books, everything in my books is delicious food to help your body heal. So, and there's fun foods too. It's all about a scale. If you're not trying to, get rid of your heart disease, your cancer, your diabetes, if that's not your goal, if you just want to wake up and feel better every single morning and feel energized and not have to depend on, Tums and aspirin and all the things, or even your allergy inhaler, all that kind of stuff, or migraine, you don't want to have migraine headaches, then there's foods that you can eat that will help you get on that journey and get rid of those things in your life. But and they can still have a lot of fun. Now, if you're trying to end your diabetes, your cancer, your heart disease, you're going to need to be more strict for a while. You're going to need to really hone in and go, I have a mission, and that is to live, and not only to live, but to live the healthiest, happiest life I can. So I'm going to really focus in here and make my entire priority to make sure that I am putting good fuel into my body so it can heal. So, when I talk to different on my Real Hill podcast, I talk to gastroenterologists who talks about what foods those are. In my book, The Kind Diet, I talk about what foods those are. When you're talking to Kevin Smith, who had a heart attack and almost died, and then how he changed and how did he save his life, we're all talking about sort of the similar foundation, and how you individually want to take that on is up to you. In my book, The Kind Diet, I really go into detail on each and everything so that you can choose for yourself. You know what? I'm okay with that. That one I'm going to let stay in, but I'm going to try taking this out and see what that does to me. The more change we make, the better. Of course, you're going to feel a significant difference if you really change it all the way. But any little change is good for you, good for the earth, good for the animals. So any movement in the right direction, I applaud.
I do a lot of relying on Tums and aspirin and Red Bull. I assume Red Bull's not really on the list of things I should probably be crushing daily.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that might be working for you right now, but I don't know how old you are. Give you a couple more years, you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, I'm 22, but
You're such a baby.
yeah, I'm just I look a lot older because all that Red Bull and Tums probably. I'm just guessing.
You're not really 22, are you?
No, God, no. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I
like,
can't see the face. You're so far away. You're at a big desk. It's very
yeah,
fancy.
just trust me. It's a beautiful, young looking face. It looks 22. Well, let me say this. The podcast is called The Real Hill Podcast. And so I hope you guys check it out. New episodes. Every Thursday? Is that the day you're putting them out consistently, Alicia?
They're all out right now. So you
Oh,
can
they are. Okay.
grab them as much as you want. And
as much as you want.
we talk about all kinds of things. Yeah.
I do want to talk about the movie too, because I love like apocalyptic movies. Those are my favorite kind of movies where I wonder, like, after the apocalypse happened, could I survive? That to me is, if it's a TV series or a movie, like that is my genre of movie, as Lunchbox would say here on the show. And so Last Survivor is that. It's in that world. Do you think after shooting this movie that you would be someone, because when you talk about how you eat and all the plants, I feel like you'd be pretty good at this already.
I don't know. That's really
gardening. You know how to garden?
Yes, I do. I have my veggie garden. And I'm pretty lucky because my homestead is pretty, it came with this really old avocado tree that is so ginormous. And I built him a cane so that he could survive longer. A literal, huge post so that he could rest, because he's maybe 75, 80 years old. And I don't know why I'm saying he's a he. I don't know what he is, but he's He's been very good to me. How would I survive? I have no idea.
Yeah, would you? I mean, after doing the movie, are you like, man, I can actually do this? Or are you like, nah, I'm good. I like internet and running water.
No, whenever living off the grid is very pleasurable for me. Whenever I have done that, when we've had a few, what was it, Sandy in New York. I was doing a play on Broadway, and I remember all the power went out. And of course, I wasn't in the houses that fell apart. I recognize that would be a very different, significantly different experience. But I was in the part of town where there was no electricity, and I quite loved it. It was nice to have candles and have an excuse to turn off. I always enjoy when we're all collectively told we're no, when the power goes out and everyone can't use it, it makes me very happy. So yeah, I think I'd be okay at all those things, living off the grid and managing like that. But our movie Last Survivors is really interesting, and the relationships are really interesting. And I don't know how I would never put myself, like, my character has left her children to go live in the woods, and this farm. And I don't think I could do that. I wouldn't leave my baby.
You guys check it out on Hulu. It's called Last Survivors. If you're like me, you're probably going to love it because this is right in your wheelhouse. Eddie, can you zoom in my face? I feel like she needs to see my face. I feel like we're really missing my face here. Look at this.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hi.
Let me give you a good, strong smile here. Look at this. How do I look now? I look good?
Very good. Very good. Yeah, nice to see you.
Tums and Red Bull in there. What do you think about that?
You're going to feel it soon.
I know. You're right. I know. I'm not even saying I'm right, but you're right. Okay. So I want to do this. If you're cool with it, I have a few general questions that I would like to ask you about your career, and it'll be very quick. Are you game?
Yeah. One fun thing I want to tell you before you do that is that I can't believe that this little movie, Last Survivors, that we made on a shoestring budget, has been number one on Hulu. It was on number one on Hulu for like an entire week. And at the same time, senior year, this fun movie I did for Netflix was number one on Netflix. So I had two number one movies at the same time. That was fun.
I'll tell you what's surprising to me about that. And then I don't want to get off this for a second. I did not know it was a shoestring budget movie. I thought it was like, and that's, I guess it's a testament to how good the movie is. It's a really good movie. And I will now credit it even more because you made it on a shoestring budget, and it's awesome.
It was tiny movie. We can't believe how it's doing. It's so exciting.
The other movie on Netflix, is that with Rebel Wilson? I'm just going from memory.
Yes,
here.
She's so funny. Oh my God.
What is it like to be, like if you're with somebody who's just hilarious, or are people that we see that we think, oh, they're hilarious in movies, they're really not that hilarious, not on the movie? Like, what is that dynamic like?
Well, Rebel's just a really clever woman, and she's so. When we weren't shooting, we were just sitting there chatting, and she was a very deep, serious person. So yeah, I don't think she's walking around just joking around all the time. She's very. She's got a lot of thoughtful things going on in her mind. I think she studied to be a lawyer. I think she was almost a lawyer, but. So anyway, I had a really good time with her. I just have a little cameo in the movie, but I loved them. It made me laugh so hard, this film. It's so fun.
Right, here are my final few questions for you. Do you know, you can just say no and be like, that's a stupid question. Do you know your first acting credit listed on IMDb? Because I did like the research, obviously, but I went like super generic. Do you know the first thing they list you as acting in?
Is it Nick and Me?
It's The Wonder Years in 1992. And I've seen every episode. I do not remember you on the show. Do you have a memory of filming that show?
Oh, a memory of filming it.
I mean, 92, I'm sure you've done so much. I don't remember half the crap I've done last month. I wonder if you remember a random Wonder Years episode from 92.
I do remember being in the hallway where I shot that, and with Fred? Kevin
on the show, I think, right? Kevin? Yeah. Okay. I just wondered if you knew that. That's number one. Number two, my number two question is, so I guess I was in high school, Batgirl and Batman. You're Batgirl and Batman. But that suit looks like it's super hard to move around and live in, especially So how hard is it to actually have to function in a suit that seems like it's wrapped around your entire body for 12 hours at a time?
It sucked. We had to put I think we had to put either baby powder all over ourselves, or we had these stockings underneath. I don't remember, but the whole thing was such an ordeal. And when you had to pee, it was such a pain in the butt to get the thing off. It was so epic. And yeah, not fun suit. I'm sure they've improved on the suits since.
And my final question is, you speak French fluently from what I understand, and I have a French minor. Now, with my French minor, I know like 6 things, and that's all. But I would like to run a few of those 6 things by you if you are fluent in French.
I am not fluent in French. I have no idea where you got that from.
Well, let's try anyway, because I ain't either. So let's see what happens here. All right, here we go. Bonjour, Alicia.
Bonjour, Bobby.
Oh, she's already better than I am.
Wow.
She said this fact is made up on the internet.
Je suis fatigué.
I don't know what she just said.
La plage.
How about this? Comment allez-vous?
Is that how are you?
I don't know. I just remember saying it over and over again, but I don't remember. Au revoir.
Au revoir. All I've got is qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Yeah, we're about the same. She didn't speak fluently, guys. I just checked it out. Okay, here's what I want to say. And you have just been a delight to talk with, and thank you. And so the 2 things I want you to check out: the Real Hill podcast. All the episodes are out there. Episode 11 came out on the 26th. So it's out. They're all out now. Wow. They just all came out. So check them out. And then check out Last Survivors on Hulu, which is really great. And I did not know it was made cheaply. Not cheaply. It was made on a budget that the look and the feel of the movie far surpasses the money they spent on it. And that is a testament to how great a job you guys did. So Alicia, thank you for your time. If you could zoom in one more time on my face, I want to leave her with this, Eddie.
You're zoomed.
Yeah, check it out. That's for you.
You're so cute.
Yeah, thank you. All right, there she is, Alicia Silverstone, everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. Bye, Alicia.